Hi everyone, this Revit BIM for Landscape Architecture and Design is brought to you by the Technological and Higher Education Institute of Hong Kong. And this class is part of the Faculty of Design Environment. Welcome to Class 2 of DLA 5514, Advanced Technology in Landscape Design and Communication. So today we will be talking about Revit modeling basics. We'll be going over basic navigation, basic modeling controls, floors, which will equal landscape elements like hardscapes and softscapes, walls, roofs, tree placement, and railing and fences, as well as some view creation basics such as sections, elevations, plans, and 3D views, as well as how to link import CADs as well as JPEG sketches. So the first thing you want to do is you want to have Revit open, and we'll be working in Revit 2019. So first thing you want to do is go to New, Project, and then go to Architectural Template. There's a few other templates in here. However, the architecture template is the one you really want to be using. So the first thing you notice when you open up Revit is that there is just simply a million buttons. There are, under the Architecture tab alone, there are things from walls to windows to columns to roofs, as well as rooms. You'll notice that a lot of these commands are not landscape specific, and I think this is the reason why Revit hasn't really caught on in the industry that much. However, BIM and Revit have a lot of strengths, and we can adapt these tools for our needs in landscape architecture design. Just going quickly through the rest of the navigation, you'll see that there's just a lot. There's stuff for structure, mechanical, steel, etc., etc. Each one of those tabs has a whole subset of tabs for themselves, tabs and buttons for themselves. One thing you'll notice is that none of them are really landscape architecture focused. So, however, we will only be really using 4 of these tabs. These are the ones you'll be using for your day-to-day work, both for design and model management. You got to remember that Revit and BIM were made for the entire AEC industry. So it's really built for everyone. That's why they have almost every single command under the sun inside it. This has advantages and disadvantages. One of the big advantages is that all of the consultants essentially will be working in the same ecosystem. So when you're talking about BIM, this is quite important. The entire process is really streamlined with Revit. However, the disadvantage is that it's really quite intimidating for a new user. However, we'll try to demystify what Revit is and how we can use it in this class. So just as a quick at a glance, under the Structure tab, you'll see it has beams, walls, columns, floors, trusses, and other things like that, as well as for under the Systems tab, you're looking at ducts, air terminals, and other fabrication parts. For the most part, you'll never ever interact with these commands if you're a landscape architect. Under the window to the left, you have what we call the Properties window. With nothing selected, you'll see that it has a whole bunch of properties just in this view itself. So for the floor plan, it'll have the view scale, how the model will display, the detail level, etc., etc. We'll go through each one of these commands throughout the class and what they mean. However, the Properties tab is probably one of the most important commands in Revit. It really is kind of how you interact with model elements. If you're working in a laptop or some other desktop, you'll see the Project Browser tab. Essentially, this is kind of where all of your views will live. You'll see everything from floor plans to ceiling plans to elevations, as well as sheets and schedules. While this looks like a lot, essentially what Revit does is trying to combine all of your 3D programs as well as your 2D programs into one ecosystem. So these 3D views, for example, the 3D views are the same as though you would find them in SketchUp. The only difference is it's all part of the same program, whereas your typical workflow would have been open up AutoCAD, draw something up, import it back to SketchUp, update it, and then export it back into AutoCAD for you to document. In Revit, it's all combined into one thing. So instead of learning about 7 different interfaces, you're really learning about one. So for LAs though, for the most part, for our day-to-day design and our modeling, we'll be really interacting with architecture as well as massing and site. So that's enough for introductions. Let's just jump right in.